Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Developers Cafe podcast. In this episode, I am in a conversation with Kaiwalya Koparkar. Kaiwalya has been involved with communities for the last 1.5 years. Some of the communities that is involved with are Community Classroom, T-Town Kubernetes, MLH, and also a GitHub Campus expert. In this episode, we talk about the importance of communities, how you can join communities as a beginner, and how to find these communities in the first place, and much more. If you are excited for this video, please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Alright then, enjoy this one. Hi Kevalia, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Kevalia, can you first of all tell the listeners about yourself a short intro?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone, I'm Kaiwalya Koparkar. I'm a third year engineering student from Nasik, India. I've been working in open source for about 1.5 year now. I've been involved with many communities. Recently, I became GitHub Campus expert. I work as community manager at Data on Kubernetes community. And I'm program manager at Community Classroom, which is led by Kunal Kushwaha, and all the stuff around open source hackathons and communities. I'm involved with them, and I like to help people. Yeah, that's our thing.
Kevalia, can you just list the communities once again which you're involved with? That's a pretty big list.
Yeah, that's pretty big list actually. But the communities which come to my mind when you see the communities which helped me personally when I was like beginner, I didn't knew anything about open source or anything in general. I was very naive. So the communities which come to my mind are EdiHub community, which supports open source. Whoever wants to get in open source, be good at open source. Then obviously community classroom is there. Then data on Kubernetes community, CNCF community. Then Sao Labs community is there. Then Siddharth Hack is there. Then Hack This
Yeah.
Fall is there. These are a couple of communities which MLH is there. They help beginners to get into tech and a particular domain and help them out through their journey. So among the large list, these are the like selective. If you are just getting started after listening to this, then you should really go forward and check these communities out and join and ask questions and all.
Kevalia, if I ask you when you were in the first year, so what motivated you to be a part of these communities?
Actually, when I was like started or like first year, if you say it that way, that time I didn't really know about communities do exist and all those stuff. I will be like honest, I didn't really know about much things. Like I was in a same mindset as like beginner students that I had to do good in my academics, then study from the YouTube videos, study DSA and this, then get interviews and then get placed into companies, all those sort of things. But eventually, when that COVID-19 struck and everyone was put in their houses, so that time I was like surfing internet, obviously because exams were cancelled and nothing was there in my hand to
Yeah.
do. So while surfing internet, I got a concept like. There are people who are really good at their particular domain, be that be open source or a specific technology or DevOps, anything like that, and they are helping people out there, not only students or beginners who are in college, but also industrial experts who are trying to switch their jobs or get better at their current roles. They are helping those people in the particular domain via a term called community. So I really didn't knew about what communities in general. I just knew that it's like Discord. There's chats going on continuously. And when first I heard about communities, I thought it would be like super like active, that people are talking about this technology, like Web3 is there, blockchain is there. Let's build some blockchain, something like that. That was my imagination at first. But how I joined, I just joined without an intention of let's see, let's join and just be a ghost around the community. Let's just see what happens out there, right? So I just joined. I was going through chats and everyone was chatting. Obviously, I was like a introvert person starting getting into online domain, so I didn't really chat much in the community. But when I saw people are like friends, it's like a group of friends who are like who met each other online and they are talking about, hey, what are you doing today? Then everyone shares what they are doing today. Then everyone suggests small things. Every beginner is supported. Every expert is very friendly. Then that that time I got to know about what real community is about. That it's not like only it's not like expert group of people, but group of people with each level of expertise. So that way a community is there. So in that time I got to know that what real community is. Then eventually by attending events and such podcasts on YouTube or Spotify, they mentioned that join our community. So I went on the description and all and joined the community, saw how it's going. And that's how my community like road community journey started, how I got into a community mindset.
Awesome. Now, if I talk about Kaivalya of the third year, how has community involvement helped you? How has it helped you boost your career or develop you into the person you are today?
Yeah, definitely the like communities have played a major role in my brand or my how I am today in like tech field and all those things. So first first of all, community change your mindset, how you look to like problems, or how you approach a problem you used to solve before. Say suppose when I say problem, it's like learning a new technology. It's a task or a hurdle for you at the beginning, and you don't know what to do. You just go randomly from tutorials and tutorials, etc., like that. But for communities, community change you as a person on a lot of aspects, and it gives you a like proper mentality to grow in community or grow as a person, right? So when you are in community, you are helping other people instead of just I want this or I want that, or just like a stack overflow, ask question and get answers. It's not like that. You help other people more than then you get your questions solved. You participate in many events, you have fun. Sometimes you just get there, gaming nights are there, then music skill sessions are, it's like you get indulged in the environment outside your comfort zone. So as a person personally, I felt a lot of difference in myself, be that with leadership skills, that public speaking skills. Like I talk on like events now and everything, anything like that. So it has given me a kind of what you can say, a confidence to put myself forward into the online space where I don't know a person. Still, we collaborate with each other. Just get on a call and speak to each other, like we are doing
Just
right
like
now,
this
right?
one,
So,
yeah.
yeah, just like this one, we get on call, we chat, chit chat, and then we make a good connection with people we talk, right? So that confidence, and then a different perspective to look to a problem. Say, suppose now I want to learn a specific technology. Now it's not like I don't feel pressurized that how am I going to learn this? How am I going to master this? Because I know I have to just get started, and along the way, communities are going to help me throughout my journey. So that's how it changes you as a person when you get involved with the community.
Kaivalya, taking part in communities can be exhausting because you have college studies, you have your own extra work that you are doing, you have your YouTube channel if you're a YouTuber. So, how do
Yeah,
you take out time to be actively participating in these communities? Because being a part is one thing, and being an active participant is another thing. So, how do you
yeah.
take out time to do that?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like being a part is a different thing, and being an active member is a different thing. So first of all, like I don't know about many techniques out there, but this is some simple thing I do. Communities is like a supplementary to your daily routine. Just think it of like that. So if you do college at morning, like I'm also going to college and all those things right now. So I go to college. I do all the college stuff. When I get home, there are like certain communities and certain events going on. So now, as a member, you won't have a like a responsibility kind of thing when you just getting started with the communities. But as a member, you will be abide by some rules and responsibilities as you take in. But like in my case, I'm like a program manager, and I'm managing a hackathon at the same time. I'm doing my personal college studies, then personal, like learning new technology in etc., and
Yes.
then helping other people, right? So that comes down to many techniques, like focusing on one thing at a time. You can divide your times, right? And for like messaging, personally I have like the pop-up notifications right on your desktop. You can have that.
Okay.
And for certain channels, like for Discord, say suppose I am good at open source hackathons and all those things, so I will like uh, enable the desktop notification for only certain channels for questions like help and there. And when if someone asks a good question which pops up in from current my work, I will take a bit of moment to answer that question. And yeah, that's how you have to prioritize how you are going to get through things. You have to be affirmative about what you are going to do. You have to be in the mindset that I have to do it because I have taken it on myself, and that's for me. I'm not like going to get something. You have to, you and communities are voluntary, right? So you have to
Yes.
motivate yourself in order to get full benefit for yourself. At the last, it's like boomerang. The harder you throw, the
Hmm.
good spin it gets and gets back to you, right? So
Hmm.
you have to put yourself to help others and all those things with passion. It's all about passion. So if you're full of passion, you will definitely find out some or the other way to get around it, to get more involved, get some time. It's not like a 2 3 hours kind of thing. It's time flexible. You get time when you're feeling down, then get into communities. When you're feeling super hyped, then do just adjust your time a bit and prioritize things on like basis, then you can get around things very well.
If we talk about newbies or freshers who are just listening to us and now they want to be part of communities, so how can they participate in the communities? Because okay, I join a community, I become their participant, but how to be
Yeah.
involved? Because as a newbie, it can be pretty intimidating that there are so many people, so many experienced people. So where do I stand among them?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and that might be a point where many people just stop because they don't know
Exactly.
how to put their first step. They have just joined the servers. Many things are like scrolling down continuously, chats are going on, and you
Yes.
are like, no, I'm not one among them who is chatting, or I'm not as friendly as they are, because they have been like for months or years maybe with together and they're chatting like that. And how can I jump in between? So when I started, there's like a very basic trick to it. If you get around it, then you will be pretty comfortable in any community. That's like when try to help first, right? So take step first to help, because when you just get into communities, many do this thing. I'm not telling it wrong, but according to me, that gets sometimes like if you want to be a active member and get full benefit of community, that's how I figure it would be best. That when first people join, what they have in intention is, say suppose it's an open source community, so when they join they ask a couple of open source questions, and when once they get answered, their motive for joining the community is fulfilled itself. So they don't find any other reason to get along the community, right? So first of all, when you join, if you have questions, obviously ask when you just join. But when you join, go through their help channels or specific open source. If you are good at Java, Python, JavaScript, anything like that, go through that channels and see what type of communication or what level of communication is going on. If you are total beginner, if you just joined college after admission and after 1 month you have introduced to your syllabus in college and you have joined a community, you know nothing about that, right? But there are still things that a beginners can do better than an expert. That like when you might know it better, that when we develop a website and we think that it's functionally better and it looks great, but when we show it to
Mhm.
friend, he says no, this color looks off, it looks like
Yeah,
better, this font
absolutely.
have been better, and we think like, oh, might be maybe he's correct, but why didn't it strike my head? That's because you know the pain you built behind the scene for that project. So you, as a person, you cannot come to criticize your own work, right? But when a new beginner gives you like instructions, say you can add this color, you can do this, you can do this, I might not be correct, but you can do this, right? So there are suggestions from a beginner's perspective who is not well aware of these things. So that these things you can help with. Now there are many community projects, so if you join communities, they have their own website project or this thing, etc. Like, so you can just go to their project, anything like that, go read their document, read their blog post, etc. Give suggestions to them that, hey, I would like to see this, I would like to get around this. And while you are doing this, like giving suggestions, helping any idea, like there are some college communication going on as well, right? So there are few beginners joining the community at the same time, and they're talking about which is the best book for DBMS because it's in my current curriculum, and you are in the same curriculum, and you might be thinking, yeah, that's a great question to be answered. I know a great book which I'm referring, so I
Hmm.
can answer that, right?
Yeah.
It's a total beginner question. So
Yeah.
that's that way you can get on the community very well. And while you are communicating, like helping and suggesting, these two things if you do, you will be like building a great network around yourself. You know many people, and you will get good friends around the communities as well. And then when you learn on the go, ask questions, suggest help, ask questions, suggest help, and go around the circle, as in you will build good friends as well. Then you will be more familiar with the community projects, and you will be able to help a beginner who has just joined a month. So you spent 1 month doing these things. Now you know where how community works and all those things. And a beginner
Yeah.
joins, hey, I want to learn about open source, what should I do?
Hmm.
Then you can tell, hey, just go to the open source channel, go to the pins message, do this, read this article, etc.
Hmm.
You know, right, what steps you followed. You can help the beginners to follow the same steps to get familiar with the community. And that's how the community works. It's not about how long you have been in the community, it's how you go around the community, how you utilize the community, how you help in the community. So that's how anyone actually can get around the communities and get active members and good connections for themselves.
Also, that we're talking of freshers at this moment, I would like to know that how to find a community that aligns with our particular interest, because
Yeah.
it's so vast. There are so many communities. So, how to find a community that fits our interests?
Okay, so first of all, there are two aspects to this question. First is, are you aware of your interest? Because
Hmm.
as we are talking a perspective of freshers,
Yes,
first thing,
yes,
I
yes.
don't know what they listen from 12th. Artificial intelligence, machine learning is the future. We hear all we hear about the
Yes.
blockchain. Bitcoin is getting vast. Ethereum is going crazy. Dogecoin is there. We hear about this, and we have like perspective focus that I will either go for machine learning, blockchain, or say cyber security, anything like that. And then we become constantly focused. So what for fresher, if you are not well aware of other things, or just as a fresher, everyone should try this, according to me, that join communities for each domain. I have joined communities for like blockchain, then cybersecurity related. I'm not active member there, but I have joined the communities and I
Hmm.
go through the chats and all. That's because we are all like students, and we should be well aware of what's going in the
Yes,
industry
absolutely.
and how it looks from inside. That AIML might look really like gloomy and glittery from outside, but when you go through the chats of the industry experts, and then you find the real thing behind artificial intelligence and machine learning. And then you think, no, that I think I am not that interested in that. Happened with me as
Hmm.
well. I was like
Oh.
super interested about machine learning and AI when I heard the buzzwords. And when I went through the community and all those things, I found more interesting things than AIML, which I really like. That's like open source and web development, like of kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I became good at that. So you can join related DevOps, machine learning, and every community you can just join that and go through the chats and see how it goes. Then chat in the channels, join there like Twitter Spaces. People usually have Twitter Spaces, and now Twitter Spaces have the
Hmm.
recording as well.
Yes.
So you can go through their recordings now. Twitter Spaces, then they have the stages on Discords, then just chill out sessions in their voice channels. Just join it and listen. You don't have to speak as well. Just listen to what they're talking, because you will get much more inside like perspective of people who are actually worked in that field for 2 to 3 years. And then you can get to know that if I go in this field, how am I supposed to look myself if I go into this field after 2 to 3 years? And do I have to, like, do I see myself as this person after 2 to 3 years? Right. So if I'm going in cybersecurity, I listen to a lot of those things. Then I make a picture of myself, how I am going to look after two to say suppose 10 years in the industry. And do will I like myself after 10 years, and will I be happy with the field I chose? And I should not regret. So as a fresher, you have a lot of time, but then you can join all the communities. Whatever you listen about something, just join their community. Everything has community. Like Next.js, it's a framework for
Mm-hmm.
JavaScript for front end. They have their own communities. Just join it. You listen about something, just join their community. Listen, just see through the chat, and you will figure out yourself that what you are interested in, and then join multiple student communities. Communities for product. There are certain companies which have their own communities which support the user bases and chat about suggestion and all those things. So when you find your interest in specific field, join the student communities, product related communities, and all these influential communities, and that way you will have like a good bunch of communities around yourself. And one thing is common, that you will find many common people in these common communities,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will
Absolutely.
find a strong network base. Like when I have many of my friends which have like 12 to 13 servers in common with me, right? So and
Okay.
we are really good friends, and we have not met in person a single time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we do want to meet everyone after this everything goes away, good
Mm-hmm.
thing. But yeah, this the bond which creates, you find really interesting people which are share same dream as you, and they are all enthusiastic as you are, and even a small group can motivate you a lot. So that way you will find people like you who you can like match up with, and just do this friendly competitions, get with them, and just go around the thing. So as a fresher, just join everything and figure out what works best for you. Don't go if anyone says, hey, blockchain is going to be like going to moon, or Dogecoin is going to moon,
Mm.
so you should surely go to blockchain and do all those things. Don't get into that. Even if many people, even if that seems like a smaller section of the industry, there's nothing like really small. Everything counts at all in the technology, right? It changes some with something in the technology at the end. So whatever you will be doing, it would be counted somewhere and some point of time in your life. So if you feel interested in that thing, just go ahead with it, test out thing. And it's not like once you think that it would be well, say suppose you find interest in ML after or joining communities, you go through it, and after last point you think no, that might have been better, you can always switch, right? That's your decision. And as a fresher, you probably have a lot more time to do the trial and error and find best for yourself. So as a beginner, you should try everything and then choose best for yourself and not from the influence of other people.
Also, Kevalia, you are a manager at various communities. So I want
Yeah.
to ask you that how to make communities, inclusive for everyone. How to make everyone feel safe in
Yeah.
the community.
Yeah, that's a really great question, and not as a like not only not because I am a manager I should
Yeah.
follow it. Members should
Mhm.
not follow it, or if you are holding a specific position, you should follow that. It's not like this. This is a topic which is included in code of conduct when you just join the community, or rules if you say in the community. So what it is and why it sounds so complex, and but it's not really. So first thing is being inclusive, right? So you come from a, say suppose I live in Nasik where there's no hackathon culture, right? It's pretty like a small type of city which is a bit of going urban right now. So there's no hackathon culture right now. I'm the first GitHub campus expert from my city, from my knowledge. So this is how it's going, right? So I come from that perspective, that here. And now
Yeah.
imagine that there are people from other countries, other regions, which you have not heard about yet in your entire life, and
Absolutely.
they are still there. So if you, when you come from your perspective and when you try to like talk, so that might conflict with other people, right? So that's how. So the easier way to become inclusive member of the community, etc. There are good points and good blogs written by free code camp and etc, but I will summarize few points that there's like ADHub community, there like a good inclusive code of conduct is managed, where there's a very good point like you should never assume someone's gender, right? So they might have like you have different usernames, like I use my Kaiwalya
Yes.
Koparkar, but some people have some gaming or related or music
Yeah.
related usernames and some different profiles, and generally people tend to use the pronoun as he was doing this, he was doing that, and that becomes a male dominant kind of thing, and that's not inclusive. So instead we use they, and even if the person claims that you can call me he or she, anything like that, still we use they, and we don't call like sir, ma'am, we don't call guys, we call folks or
Folks. Yep.
people or all, right? So they are inclusive words, so you can become inclusive while your communication. So you can go through the, you just go through the communication and rules section, and don't be, there are many time people say I want this, I
Hmm.
want this thing, I want this thing. Don't want. If first when you join community, first your your first approach should be what can I do for the people, what can I do for the people. And this is my like I took this thing from Mr. Beast. You might know the YouTuber Mr. Beast. From some of his podcasts, he said that I am willing to teach three things to a person, but in return, I would like to learn one thing. So that way, I proceed. First, whenever you
Yeah.
join, try to help more and more people, and just whatever, even if perspective, even if you are not sure if this correct, just tell I am not sure about this, but this can work, right? So you don't know, from your idea they can derive another idea which might help them, right? So when you join a community, first your perspective should be how I can help, and then how can I get helped, right? So help them help you, right? The kind of thing, that's how community works. Be friendly, right? So using like some slang words there, because you are in a community, you never know who is watching you. There might be some
Yeah.
people from community or direct HRs who are there in community. There are many communities where HRs are there, they are not active, but they are highly scouting people out from the community, from the way they talk, from the
Hmm.
way they present, from the way they ask questions. So
Hmm.
when you think like, hey, everyone is friendly and I can use slangs, or sometimes people curse as well in while chatting
Yeah.
due to their daily habits from a like friendly nature bond of thing, but that's not super professional. You should be read while after you type, just read your message once and
Hmm.
make sense of how it sounds
Yeah.
to other person, because you might intend on writing something other, but that may reflect in a different manner to other person, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So when you write, just go through your message, be professional, like you have been, and always get a sense like someone is watching me, and some my future employee or my future subordinate might come from this community, right?
Yes.
And it's not about just I will be getting scouted, but this is a good practice. And because I have been into communities for like 1.5 year now, so that has become my like second nature to me, talking to people and communicating in a certain way. So whenever I text, even if to my uh, college groups or something like that, I have that perspective in my mind, and it is in my subconscious to how to talk now, or how to do things, how to properly get through the communication. Even if I oppose a point, how do I tackle that kind of situation?
Hmm.
How do I
Yeah.
respect a person even if I am opposing their point? How do
Yeah.
I
Got it.
prove my
Yeah.
point? And if I'm wrong, and if my opinion about the point is wrong, how do I tackle that? Because there's nothing like, if you when you talk, you might realize that, hey, I guess my point was wrong and he's right, right? Sometimes you feel that, but
It happens.
when you come through a closed mindset, you think, no, I'm not, I can't be wrong, I have to do this. So that's not like, if you're wrong, just admit it. Because there's one tweet I read that if you don't know something, then just uh, say that I don't know the things. That way you will open the learning gates for yourself, right? So you should be kind and considerate of every aspect I have talked till now while communicating. And you will feel it a bit hard at starting, but trust me, if you just communicate continuously like in this manner for 1 month at least, you will get that in your subconscious mind, and it would be a second nature while communicating, and that would go real easy on you uh, while being inclusive in the community.
All right, Kaivalya, it was lovely chatting with you. Thanks for taking out time for me and the community. Lovely hanging out with folks who have like-minded, thought process and all.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
it was lovely having you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was like really nice and chat, and I hope I was able to help some beginner listener who would be listening to it. And definitely, I'm always active in the community. So some if it happens, you strike around a community where I'm there. Feel free, you can ask question and you can see in person like how the communication goes and everything. And I'm always up for questions. Just hit me on my social links, and I would be happy to help you.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.